Hi, I'm Amy Simmons, and welcome to Las Vegas, home of the 2018 HAI Heli-Expo.
Can everyone hear me? Yeah, I guess it's on now. I'm going to look at you when I talk about the 902. Well, welcome everybody. Tim, I see you right there, so we're going to talk about Rolls-Royce. Absolutely. Very much appreciate everybody coming to join us today. It's not always been easy to give these press conferences. It's not always been good times, and it felt like a lot of people would like to come and wait and see and wait for MD to fail. I had the proud moment today talking to a future military customer to say the one thing that I am sure of today is that MD will live on for a long time in all our history. It may not always be under my watch, but we have taken this company from its moments of darkest despair, where many vendors would not deliver parts to us. There was no manufacturing line, and our competitors were out talking about the imminent failure. And I can tell you, as I stand here as certain of anything, is I think that conversation has stopped. I'm indelibly proud of what I and my team have accomplished together. I've long felt sort of the burden of carrying the house that Howard Hughes built and the prolific technology and engineering of the McDonnell Douglas and Hughes Helicopters engineers into the future. It hasn't always been easy, and I must say that at times I doubted even myself. Which goes to sort of the base issue, which is the most important part of strategy for every company in this industry now comes down to innovation and evolution. Never have we been faced with a time where innovation is moving more rapidly and at a trajectory more steep. And I think this industry's gotten off the hook a little bit in terms of how quickly it's moved. As someone who has 60 companies across 14 different industries, things are moving much more quickly everywhere else. But the future of this is really software. And it's interesting that there isn't as much conversation about that. We can all look at what needs to be done to get the things that are most important to our customers: power, speed, range, empty gross weight, and connectivity, which is the key. When I build military aircraft, which is primarily what we've been building lately, everyone's looking for lighter weight. And we talk about lightweight materials. We talk about amalgamated mechatronics, which is the marriage of mechanical parts and software and electronics growing into systems, taking wire bundles out. But really, we carry 150 pounds of boxes in the back that feed into our glass cockpits. But I carry a supercomputer in my phone. And so what is stopping that integration? Only the industry, right? Because we're all holding on tight to our IP. Well, in the end, it comes down to our customer. It comes down to serving the warfighter. It comes down to serving our police forces. It comes down to our EMS workers and our commercial customers. And in the end, this industry has to put the customer first and find a way to protect its intellectual property, but work in the name of our customer. So I can tell you the most important thing that I'm doing to facilitate that is hiring as many software engineers as I can, not only in this country, but also in India, where I house almost 100 software engineers for the automotive industry, and beginning that integration of what needs to get done to serve our customers. So for me, I think that's the most important thing that anyone should really be talking about at this point, is really software, 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 and reducing the weight of things that no longer make sense. I mean, if you take apart this helicopter, you're going to see dozens of pounds of wire bundles. Why? Right? We should be flying by wire with one redundant system, using smart actuators, working in a very, very different way, which is why when we build the 6XX, it's going to be built very different. Because we can get more power through stronger tools, bigger engines, transmissions, better blades, and we can take weight out through lightweighting material, more composites, aluminum with plastic structures. But what people need most is mission equipment. You never have enough empty gross weight for mission equipment, and that's going to come with the software solution. And it's not easy. It takes time. It's millions of lines of code. But when I speak to the military as well as across the industry, that is the future. It's all in the software. And that is going to be our main focus. I would say that for me, when I focus on innovation, I do focus on lightweighting strategy. As we're moving forward more and more in composites, working with aluminum, with plastic structures to make them more firm and more sturdy, trying to get weight out where we can, but that's not the big weight. I think about amalgamated mechatronics, which is really how you put the aircraft together differently today, where electronics are built into your mechanical parts, where software moves them. So you're basically, instead of taking all these little parts and moving them with an engine and a transmission, you're basically taking systems and piecing them together. A little bit harder when you're using your 50-year-old aircraft as the start, although we keep tearing them apart and trying to do better. But as we move into the 6XX, you're going to see that. Then I look at really safety, right? We always work towards crash-worthy. We've been blessed with probably the safest aircraft in the industry, the survivability, but we don't do much to protect the aircraft in the air. So as we move forward, especially with our new 969, we're using technology that we've already designed for the automotive industry, which is a cocoon, and it's really not complicated. It's just the use of LiDAR and radar and cameras feeding into your avionics that keeps you looking at what's around you. How many times do you hear about an aircraft going down because it hits a wire at night? Just should never happen. I mean, this is simple, inexpensive technology. And it sounds really sexy, and we're going to do it. But I must tell you, every autonomous car that's on the road has that. And that's the gift of working across industries. So I look at that in terms of active safety, where we need to go. Not just our parts, not just crash-worthy, but keeping aircraft in the air and never having an accident because you don't see something. And then really HMI, and really working with that, with your mission equipment. Again, we're very far behind the automotive industry and other industries in just making sure that our pilots are safe. Just the human-machine interaction of smart surfaces, cameras, using it to make sure that people are operating their machinery and that they're feeling okay in that machinery. These are not the difficult parts, but it's parts that's woefully lacking from our industry and is easy because other industries are doing it already and adds to safety. But again, software, software, software. Last year I talked to you about it being the year of glass, 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 which I will catch you up on because I didn't get the full glass that I had expected, but got a long way. But as you look at innovation in this industry, and as you speak to people, you should be talking more and more about software and moving every piece of mission equipment that's in the back in a box into an application into your system. And if people aren't talking about it, it's because they don't want to do it, not because it can't be done or it shouldn't be done. So going into last year, and we promised glass upgrades on all our aircraft. They're all in process. The good news is we got so busy with orders
that experts share their roadmap to success and career opportunities at the helicopter career discussion hosted by the University of North Dakota. Starts at 3:30 p.m., followed by a networking reception at the HAI Connect booth, CT 1350.
CT 1350 if everyone's interested. But I think, you know, we got the 600N certified, delivered to our launch customer Sapura. We got the 530F certified, full glass cockpit, delivered that to Fresno. We decided to change our glass on the single engine to Howell. I know, Bubba, you wanted better glass. I got you better glass. Bubba's our test pilot for the FAA. And the reason that we're as far along as we are, but we got more to do, fast. We decided to upgrade for our aircraft for going to Afghanistan and for the future to the Howell displays. That should be done next 30, 45 days. We were also a little bit surprised, but had a little obsolescence issue with Garmin, who decided to change over, so that all had to get certified into our aircraft and is happening right now. Luckily, they've done a very good job of getting everyone prepared for that change, and so it's going smoothly. The 500E, the 520N, all have customers, as well as the 902, and those are all in process. But I'm sad to say I didn't get them all finished by year end, but they're all on the line and they're all moving forward. When you add digital to an analog aircraft that's been around for a long time, and you pull everything apart, you see all the sins that everyone hid as they jerry-rigged the aircraft to get them certified. So when you pull that out and you start with software, you got to fix every squawk. So we're moving towards that, but the cockpits have been really embraced by our customer, and people are very excited about these great aircraft finally moving forward. But customers, all those aircraft are on the line and all moving forward towards certification. The 500N and the 500E should be done sometime in the second quarter, and the 900 or the 902/969 in the fourth quarter of this year. So I hope I won't face you next year without everything done and delivered. So that's our story on the innovation of last year. In terms of last year, I said to you in the press conference a year ago that 2016 was our best year ever. I'm here to say 2017 was our best year ever, not only from financial performance, but also from booking and backlog. Just as a reference, 2018 revenue will probably be 65 to 70% over 2017 if you look at that kind of growth trajectory. So our biggest issue is catching up to our growth and making sure that we don't disappoint anyone on the way. As most people know, this year was marked by winning a major contract for the U.S. Army, 150 aircraft IDIQ. The beauty of this is that it's not only the 530G, but it's the Cayuse Warrior. So we have 2 aircraft that will be in the Army fleet, available for the U.S. Army as well as for our foreign military customers, that will be able to be on contract very quickly with a purchase order. That started with a 30 aircraft delivery for Afghanistan that went on contract in September. We will deliver those first 30 aircraft by the end of this year. The first 5 probably by the end of May. Certifications, God willing. Engineers. And I think most people know that the government has already announced Kenya and Lebanon behind that, Cayuse and G orders respectively. There are far more behind that have not yet been announced, so I cannot yet release those names, but I will tell you this is a busy time and a happy time for me and my MD team. Other things that sort of are marked as important in 2017, as people know, making things in America and employing people in America has been very important to me for a very long time. We moved our airframe production back from Mexico, in large part just to speed up our aircraft deliveries. We now build that airframe on our production line. So it starts with the airframe fuselage and goes right through the production line. So that's exciting. We've added another 100 people this year, and we hope that in 18, if we can get everyone trained and move forward, that we'll add another 150 workers. So today we're employing more Americans at MD than we have since I bought the business back in late 2005. I will tell you there are 42 aircraft on that line today, and it's a new day for MD helicopters. Right now, I would tell you last year and this year, we're about 75% military, 25% commercial, but if you add our military customers that have gone commercial, it's a lot closer to 85 or 90 military aircraft, 10% commercial. But it's really where we are right now with the backlog of orders. In terms of aftermarket, we know that is what is most important to our customers, that we keep their aircraft in the air. I remember when I bought this company, we had 365 grounded aircraft. And I wasn't smart enough to know what that meant, because people have to give you parts to put those aircraft back in the air. It's one of those things where I had to fly around and try to pick up parts anywhere I could to try to put people back in the air before anyone would ever buy another MD aircraft. So in comparison, we had 116 AOG orders this year. We fulfilled 112 of those within 24 hours. That means a lot to people who use that aircraft every day to make a living or to protect and serve. We reduced our DOC costs on every aircraft because we're working hard looking at those primary parts and reducing those prices wherever we can. One of the big things was initially bringing together a MRO center of excellence at MD, where we have started with a single engine test stand and doing all our overhauls in-house, being able to significantly reduce those costs, which are a big part of our direct operating costs, and we're going to try to do the same thing on the 902. And we've really built our training to handle all the tactical and military training, which we didn't have on premises before. But now that we're selling so many weaponed aircraft to the foreign military as well as our own, we thought it was very important to do that in-house. And so we've built that training as part of our overall programs that we're delivering to our customers. So in the end, things are moving very quickly here. We have more to do. We're most of the way finished with getting our commercial aircraft at 3350 gross weight, and I know it's very important to our police customers to have that. Just a couple of tests away, and 3950 for our military customers. We thought we would have our new Rolls-Royce engine certified by now, but given the number of certifications we had to do, we delayed that, but we're all going to get started again by the fourth quarter of this year and try to make that change on all our single-engine aircraft except for the E and N models. Try to get that finished. I will tell you, MD could not be here today without our partners. A small company.
Experts share their roadmap to success and career opportunities at the helicopter career discussion hosted by the University of North Dakota. Starts at 3:30 p.m., followed by a networking reception at the HAI Connect booth, C-13.
A company this size only moves forward when you have people standing behind you, standing by your side, standing in front of you, pulling forward. And this aircraft, which is what I think will be our best-selling aircraft going forward, this 530G aircraft with our Block 2 cockpit, our digital weapon system, its ability to shoot almost any weapon. I want to thank Tech Fusion for helping us through this integration process, helping us design that cockpit. Harris Radio for helping us with our customers, not only in terms of delivering product, but helping us win customers with your relationships. Dylan for being an integral part of our aircraft and standing by our sides. L3, working us with the simulators as well as Westcam. Talus, and of course, FN Herstal. So if I forgot anyone, I apologize, but we know that our rise in the military community wouldn't be here without you. Rolls, we have our ups and downs, but you were the first vendor to help me through this. And that's why we're excited about all the orders. This is going to be a fun time together. Thank you, Tim. For my customers, it's all about you, right? Every company works from the customer backward. You can believe you're delivering what someone might want, but if they don't buy it, you don't have a business. And so it's so important that we listen to our customers. It's my favorite time in this industry. Everything I do is to be able to showcase our aircraft, to welcome you to our home, to make you feel a part of our family business, and to take you on this journey with us. I can't tell you how proud I am of this turnaround story. You know, every day is a challenge. Every day something goes wrong. It's constantly a teaching experience for me, and a learning experience, and a humbling experience. But I can't describe what it's been like to take a company that was left for dead, that no one wanted, that no one believed in any longer, and said it was impossible to resurrect. That's why our logo is the Phoenix. And take it to a place where a major defense company, where we're going up against the big guys every day and winning because we have great aircraft and we have great people. A military customer said to me today, and I won't forget it, I said, we're a small company. We're only 500 people. And he said, you're a powerful company. Not only your aircraft, but your people. And all I can say to that is, amen. Thank you. As always, now the fun begins. And yes, I won that SEC case. I don't know where you are, who you always want to ask me about something bad in my life. Yes, in case anyone wants to ask, I fought the government, which no other Wall Street person has ever dared to do. I fought them in their own private court where they win 97% of the time. Oh, and yes, I won. So, take that off the table. Hey, Giuseppe, you know what it means to stand up for principle and win? Okay, so, questions? Because I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't get much accomplished this year. It is our love. We are designing it all in-house. It is designed, but I really had to put it on hold over the last 6 months because I could not get the 5 certifications I need to get done to deliver my 42 aircraft this year to the military. So, I mean, every one of our military aircraft that's getting delivered has certifications attached to it, and we just didn't have the resources. So we're not stopping it. We're excited about it, but in the end, I just couldn't do it all. So hopefully next year. $2020. I mean, I really don't think, I mean, we're still working on the design. I have a whole design team working on it, but I just can't work on certifying it until I get through all these deliveries. And as a major military contractor, I will tell you right now, so much of my time is taken up with the Army on site, right? I spend more time building financial models and meeting with DCAA and ACC and DCMA than doing what I really love, which is dreaming and designing, innovating, and getting you great aircraft and product. But I hope to get back to that. But I assure you, there's nothing anyone in-house wants to do more than get back to building our baby. Anyone else have a question? I've never been at a press conference with one question. Come on, before...
Great job.
Is that just a pen on the... Not a question? What did I just...
Great job.
Oh, thanks, Carl.
Great.
Yes. Well, if you see I wish I had a picture of what I showed at CES. At CES, I showed a infotainment advanced driving system that's the entire cockpit in a car because it's going to drive itself. So it was actually my automotive company, my electronics company, my gaming company, and Rand McNally, which together built this. It's got everything from gaming to social to navigation to Netflix to Hulu, and it drives itself. That I originally designed as a cockpit, because for me a cockpit should just be one piece of glass with everything in it. So I'm going to take that and move it back into aerospace, but that also comes down to the software. I mean, we wrote 5 million lines of code to put that all together. But all the pieces belong to me, right? You know, I've used that. The biggest problem in this industry is everyone holding on tight with a 15-pound box. So that's the thing that I want to do most. It's what I've talked to Special Forces about. It's what I've talked to everyone. It's literally turning the cockpit into a phone, right? I mean, if we can do it on a phone, if you can do it in the consumer products industry, you can do it in the gaming industry. I assure you, we can do it in this industry. So that and the cocoon, right, which I really is what we have to do to have a car drive by itself, right? You need cameras and LiDAR and radar. That cocoon, and given, in a car it's somewhat expensive, in the price of an aircraft it's not. Nobody should ever go down for hitting a wire. No one should ever go down because they miss something at night. That's an easy feed in from that, and it's this big, right? Everything, the cameras are this big. So I would say that those are the two things. But I'm leading with automotive. The lightweighting, all the lightweighting we're doing is from automotive. The amalgamated mechatronics, I build smart actuators. We're moving so much of what I'm doing in automotive to aerospace. But 9 years ago, I would innovate here, especially more with lightweighting, and move it to automotive. But we have not had an Elon Musk to kick our ass yet. But what I say to everyone is, it's coming, right? So we better move fast on our own.
And then just to add to that question, are you in alignment with the military's digital twin concept?
They're talking to us about it. Yeah. Every time they say to me, "Are you aligned?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" But then we get up to speed. I'm having trouble just getting through everything I have. But yes, good questions. Come on, someone else have a good question. Be smart.
Yes, hi. So with all the aircraft that you're delivering, last year, this year, coming years, what are you doing to increase your product support?
Increase our price point?
No, product support and service.
Our product support. Well, I mean, look, I think we're doing a lot. I mean, part of it also has to do with the customer, right? And what the customer, that's why MD Aero is so important. And, people have been increasing their usage because I need to know when people need parts, right? So, for example, in Afghanistan, we've been at a 97% minimum readiness rate across all the years since 2011. That comes with a customer sort of understanding what they need and communicating. Every time a part gets used in Afghanistan, it comes back and I put one on my shelf. So it's about the using technology and transparency of communication. We're never short inventory, right? It's always about having the right inventory, and that's literally about the customer being transparent with MD. Not necessarily the distributor, not necessarily the service center, but the customer, and that's why we created MD Aero. Because if we know, we'll always be there. And frankly, we've really improved our support. No matter what comes out in the polls and the surveys, I know the data of where it is, and it's not perfect, and we should be perfect. I mean, our customers deserve to always be in the air, but they also need to communicate. The transparency of communication along with the technology should keep people always getting the parts they need. And so it's just about using MD Aero and making certain that we always know when maintenance is coming. But like I said, 116 AOG off orders, 112 delivered in 24 hours. That's a pretty good track record. 94% fill rate, should be higher, but it's not bad. And those are accurate numbers.
Thank you.
You have a question for me too? You always have a question.
On the MD900 program, what are the customers seeking in that aircraft as you talk to them now?
Well, the truth is that this is getting, I mean, we will have a commercial aircraft, but it's getting turned into a military aircraft. I mean, I couldn't rationalize the $25 million of R&D and IRAD if we were not turning this into a military aircraft. What people want is glass, weapon system, 4-axis autopilot, solid state, and that's pretty much it. I mean, look, we've got some very big launch customers. They also want price out of it, right? That's one of the reasons that just like we build the entire single engine in-house, we brought all our tools back from Turkey, and we're setting up the same line on the 902 that we have on the single engine where the airframe will get built. So the biggest issue with the 902, and I think the thing other than technology and being left behind a little bit in terms of being uncompetitive, biggest thing is price. But having some large military customers coming in, that will really help us facilitate getting the cost down with large orders as well as the R&D. So there are some big things coming in the 902. It's a great aircraft, and it is one of the things that makes me sad is that we haven't been fast enough to facilitate what's needed, but it's happening. I just got a little sidetracked with the big military orders this year, but it's going, and it's the top priority of this team right here, right now. But some big orders really changes the landscape, as we've learned. And this will be both a commercial version and a military version, fully weaponized with a plank that actually sits under the aircraft. It's pretty sexy. A couple of drones on the side. You'll like it. And for all you men, we're adding a little bit of pretty to our aircraft, right? I always say the same thing in the automotive industry, right? Just because men fly it doesn't mean it shouldn't be beautiful, because I've never known a man not to want something beautiful. So little things, just like adding the leather to our seats, different kinds of paint, little bit comfort, little bit of design, just trying to change the interiors. I wanted to change the black. They tell me with night vision goggles I can't. What about that, Bubba? I gotta keep it black? Not even navy blue? See, FAA, Army keeps getting in my way of beauty. But really, one of the things that we really are focusing on is seats, making things more comfortable for our passengers and our pilots. So you'll see a lot more beauty coming to our aircraft. Not that Virginia Beach and the 530G aren't lovely, but a little bit more comfortable inside, a little more beautiful. Things are going to fly and drive themselves. It has to look a little more like a living room. Yes, I knew if I waited long enough the questions would come.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't expect everyone to be so shy today.
Okay, no, I've got one for you. What sort of aspirations have MD Helicopters got in the commercial parapublic market? So looking forwards, where do you expect that to take you?
I actually didn't hear that. Did you ask me what's the aspirations or expectations?
I said aspirations. I'm imagining your imagination, your hope, your...
I prefer the imaginal to the real, I assure you.
Okay, now I'll continue then. I was saying, what are the sort of aspirations, the hopes, the future wishes for MD Helicopters in the commercial parapublic market?
Oh, you mean, am I going to take it public?
You're going to take it public, sure. You've talked a lot about the military, and you've also got a big footprint there. But to enter into the commercial, to expand in the commercial, how are you going to do that? Oh, into the commercial market more. So sorry. For some reason, that's not really working. Look, if you have the right aircraft and it has the technology that the customer needs, they will come, right? Truthfully, I can't pay for the research and development that we do right now. If I didn't have military, just can't. Right? That's why I made a commitment in 2011 to really go after the military customer, because when you have 12 or 24, you can do that. Look, we love our commercial customers, but right now we're just trying to use the money we have to continue to upgrade the product and hope that we have what the commercial customer needs. I mean, look, things like law enforcement and EMS are at the heart of what this company is, right? And they're getting the benefit of what our military customers are allowing us to do. But for a long time, we had great aircraft that had obsolete equipment, right? And that's my number one goal, is to keep the price right so the commercial customer can afford it, and to continue to upgrade the innovation and the technology so it makes their heart beat fast. Okay, I'm gonna give you one more shot. I've never had such a large, shy group of men in my presence ever. Come on, don't. All right. Yeah, you got another one?
So what do you do? So what do you do in the area of STEM research aligned with MD helicopters?
STEM research?
STEM, like
I do a lot with FIRST Robotics. I'm a good friend of Dean Kamen. Try to do a lot to get women. At Dura, we sponsor a machine, a team. So we are. I mean, look, I believe one of the most important things I will do before my career is over is help women on this journey, right? You know, it's hard for most people to imagine what I had to go through to get here in a man's world, from Wall Street to automotive to aerospace to heavy manufacturing. And unlike others, I don't want people to have to suffer the way I did. So for me, my message to women always is brains and beauty are not mutually exclusive, and that our destinies will change when we begin to be kind to each other. I find that for some reason women feel we need to compete with each other, that there's only one place for us. It's a misconception that may have been posed by men, but I would like women to know that the journey will be different when you have each other around you, and I will do everything I can to help women make their way into the industries that tried to block me. And it's important to me, and it's an important thing for me. And when I write my book this year, I hope that it is more a lesson to women that most people lose or don't get where they want to go because they give up, not because they're not capable or they won't get there. So we all go through a lot, and it's all about fighting on and knowing that there's someone who's holding you up and being the wind beneath your wings. So, no, very good question. No one else? Young lady standing up there, I know you have a question. No question? Okay, got a follow-up question. Go ahead.
Thanks. I've got a team of 45 fantastic engineers, but I'm sad to say that only 2 of them are ladies. So what would your advice be to us as the chaps in the industry to make us more attractive to that huge pool of talent that we're just not taking advantage of or not using in our industry?
I think it's making sure that you don't have just one, and making certain that you actually make them feel part of what you're doing, because men and women bring different things to the table, right? So when we talk about the importance of diversity, it's because, men are from Mars and women are from Venus, okay? When someone says, they're different, we're different, and they're like, no, we're not. Sure we are. I mean, we're creators by nature. We're creative. That doesn't mean we can't be engineers or software engineers or scientists or mathematicians, but there's a different way we look at things. And I think that when men realize that they're so much better because they have that diversity and they embrace it, I think that's what will be the beginning of change. And we need to also make sure women follow that path because they think there's a future for them. Look, how many women that I started out with at Yale, or at Morgan Stanley, how many of them you think are still working in the business or anywhere to be found? Because it's just too painful. It's not that they're not capable, it's not that they couldn't, but women also bear children, they have to make choices, and if it's not inspiring and it's not fun and there is no future, you stop. I didn't stop because I didn't have a choice. I mean, I was a single mother at 23, right? I hated my early years on Wall Street. I was afraid every day. But I had no choice, and it made me strong. And now I fight because I have 100,000 people who work for me and their families. So no matter what comes at me, I keep fighting. But I don't like to fight.
I want to dream, I want to innovate, I want to be kind and compassionate, but it doesn't get you where you're going. But I do think that there is a different type of thinking between men and women, and you need both. And I think when women try to be more like men, they actually cut themselves off at the knees. And when men ask women to be more like men, they actually hurt their future and what can come from the sort of weaving together of two minds and two sets of innovation. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
I had more of a follow-up comment to this last gentleman. As a woman in the field, for me, it was because I wanted it so much. It was different for me as a woman, whereas men think it's cool. They really want to do their best. Women want to be that next top guy. They don't want to be shown up by the next guy. They want to be the best. So I think that's really something for everyone to really realize, is that you got to find those right women in your aviation wherever you are that want it more than the next guy.
But you need to reach out your hand and let women know that it's possible, right?
Exactly.
Like when you get to a certain place and you may have gotten there because you wanted it more, that's your job to reach back and to let them know it's possible. Look, I hope that in the end, I'm just a symbol to other women what's possible, right? I may not have had the easiest journey or the smoothest journey, or I may not have even gotten exactly where I should have gone. But you know what? When I stand here today, every woman should know this is possible for her. All you can do is be a symbol of hope and aspiration and be an inspiration to others. But each one of us has a responsibility to reach back and pull forward. So I got here because I had no choice. You got here because you wanted it bad enough. Now let's take other women on the path with us.
That's right.
Another question over here.
Hi Lynn, we're over here from Australia, coming to the Helicopter Expo. Inspirational, love what you've done with MD. One of the questions I've got is the Made in America approach that you've taken, which I think is
okay.
amazing.
Deanna, would you please fix that microphone?
Is it me?
Oh, there you go. Okay, say that again.
Yeah, the Made in America thing, inspirational work that you're doing with that. We're here from Australia in the helicopter industry, but I'd like to understand a little bit more about what you're doing with your Made in America side to the rest of the industries that you're working in, because I walked into a Brooks Brothers store, picked up everything in there is made in China.
Yeah.
Walked into a Tommy Hilfiger store, everything in there is made in Malaysia. So for MD to come back to the US, I think is phenomenal. But yeah, I'd like to understand what you're doing elsewhere in your industries that you run.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, I lost my father when I was 19, and I realized that the indignity of family suffers when you lose a working parent. How I went from a very sort of secure and loving childhood to one that was ripped apart. So for me, giving people the dignity of work became my mission and my mania, right? It wasn't for me, it's what was so important to me, because it made me feel good about me, that other people wouldn't have to go home and tell their families that they couldn't take care of them today. So for me, the most important thing was giving people the dignity of work. But here I am, right, in America, watching everything get shipped overseas, right? And look, China and Malaysia, everyone did a great job of bringing manufacturing into their economy to keep people working, but we just became consumers, right? And everyone talks about such a low unemployment rate, and things are better today than they were, but we're also the population of the permanently unemployed. You know how many people never got high-paying jobs again after 2008 and 2009 in this industry? So look, I have an automotive company in 15 countries, 40 plants around the world. It's important, for the most part, to build where you are, right? But for me, a defense company in this industry, look, like I said, I will be remembered for very little, because we all sort of move in and out. But I hope someday that people realize what a great American turnaround story this was, because I couldn't be more proud of it, and the people who have helped me make this happen, because we lived through a lot of dark times.
And as a leader, the most important thing is teaching people that you walk in the darkness, one foot in front of the other until you see the light. But you have to have that absolute certainty the light will come. And I always believed the light would come, and I asked people just to hold on to my skirt and follow. And I had a lot of people who did. So I'm indelibly grateful for that.
Maria has something to say.
Hi, Mrs. Tilton. I'm Maria Badillo with Defense Technology Equipment, DTE. More than a question, what I want to tell you is that your speech today is amazingly inspiring. I've been in logistics, supplying spare parts for 30 years, working for a family business, and I want you to know that my company is ready to help you take care of those customers in international markets where I will make a promise to gather the market share for MD. I'm very happy that you had the tenacity. No, you are, I disagree with you. We will not forget you easily because you took this company in 2005 and I've been coming every year and I seen you how slowly, surely you have demonstrated not only to females but to males and to the industry that you have what it takes to resuscitate a company here in the United States. I will be forever happy that tomorrow my meeting with your company will go great because I'm ready to help you be successful along with my team. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Okay, about to exit. All right, well, thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate it.